Office Hours with Dr. G. Tonight, the ever popular Mother Khai returns, this time with 7 Greek days makes 1 week. We'll take a look at global Greek influence, matrix resurrection, and current events by the numbers. Now, for those of you who don't know her, Mother Khai holds the greatest title in the omniverse, Ma Cosmosis. In utilizing her natural gifts and talents, she does all things according to nature. Mother Khai has been given many character roles to play on this stage, and she does not identify them or place self in a box. She role plays, allowing others the right to call her as they think they see her. Some see her as an iridologist, still others see her as a numerologist, nutritionist, inspirational speaker, teacher, student, author, designer, or politician. And the list may grow. As Mother Khai says, she does not divide, she adds up. Many of us knew, about the Matrix, and we recently see the remake of the Matrix Resurrection. Well, tonight, Mother Khai is going to take us deep. As I said, she explores 7 Greek days, how it makes 1 week, and we're talking about WEAK. Welcome back to Office Hours with Dr. G, no stranger, Mother Khai. Dr. G. See you, Mother. Really? Who's she?
Ashe. That's
one more. We got one more. Dr. G. Really? Who's she? That's it.
Ashe.
Ashe power. Ashe.
Yes, right. Ashe, Ashe. Ashe, Ashe. Who is she? Who's she? Who's she? Ashe. Ashe.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, hit that like, hit that share. Mother Khai is giving a disclaimer, and she's giving me a disclaimer on tonight's broadcast. She said you don't want to have your children sitting around tonight because this is not for the babies. She says she's going deep, she's going hard, and she's going straight with no chaser. So she said after you view this, if you want to share it with your children, then by all means do so. But tonight it is for the grown folks only. Am I right? Disclaimer.
Here's another disclaimer. I'm not alone. I'm with the ancestors. Easy as 1, 2, 3. We turn this. We have help.
Yes. So we had a discussion, and
Yes.
We were talking about a lot of things. Whenever I have a conversation with my sister, Mother Khai, it's like you gotta hunker down and grab a notebook and pen and take notes because she's going deep, and it just comes off her tongue like I said, water off a duck's back. It just rolls off, and so you got to be on your toes to keep up with you. So to her when we were talking, like even last night. I said, let's wait. Let's wait until tomorrow. You don't have to tell me everything tonight. Let's talk about it, because then you're getting it right now directly from the ancestral realm through you to us. So I say to you, may the Ashe and the power be with you. The Ashe is the power. Somebody reminded us that people say Ashe like they say amen, but Ashe is not the same as amen. Ashe is the power. That is the force, if you will. So I know you're coming with some Ashe tonight.
I have to say, yeah. And just like how you say Ashe, you see she. And she is the power. And we are both she. And this is what it's about. Because when we say Ashe, or we can say Amen. Amen is the end, but Amen is also talking about Amun. But Ashe is talking about she. She's the power.
The divine power. Yeah.
Now, yes. And now when people normally greet, it might be a cool thing to meet and greet and say, peace, how you do? And then when people leave, they say, peace. And they say, peace, going and coming. So I thought about it. I said, well, people say peace, going and coming. So really, we living in pieces, but we don't have no peace. It's the same thing that is making us weak. We don't know what we're saying, so we don't know what we're doing, because it's all Greek weak. See? The W-E-E-K and W-E-A-K and the peace, the P-E-A-C-E and the P-I-E-C-E. So when we talk about and we say peace, what is it that we're fighting over but a peace? A piece of this and a piece of that, and we can't come together to be more. And more, as we talked about, is less, and less is more. Because nothing is just one thing. So when we're talking about the Greek weak, that's what we're under, but we're also weak. So we say peace, going and coming. Why is that? Who said that? Even in Islam, Assalamu alaikum. Like it means, may peace be with you. Well, it's supposed to be always with you, because it's inside of you. It's not like you're going to look for it anywhere. So why is it that we don't ask these questions about the going and coming of peace? Who started this thing that we say peace, going and coming? I see you, peace. I leave you, peace. But I'm leaving you in pieces, because we didn't come together with not one idea, which is the power, because idea has the valuation of 19, which is the power, and it is Alpha and Omega, according to the Greek, of course, because we're not living in our strength. And this is why we greet each other and say peace, because they want us in pieces. And this is what this show is about. How do we come from under the days of being weak and under their weak? We talked about the Matrix resurrection. And the Matrix resurrection, I think we said that this is number 4, right? Well, 4 is the throne. It's the 4 legs. And who was sitting on the throne is our set. And so when they make joke with our truth, they mock us and they laugh. And I'm fed up with the laughing, because it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. That's why Michael Jackson isn't here, because he figured it out. ABC, it's elementary. It's simple as do, re, mi, a sound. And 1, 2, 3, symbols, letters. This is all it adds up. So then, of course, set him up, take him out. How many of those that came to us with the expression of the Almighty has been set up? Well, let's think about that. The word set up. Who were we in opposition with but set? That is what the Matrix resurrection is about. It's about the Trinity. The Trinity is Mary. Well, I am the Trinity. My name is Trinity. And every melanated woman who is watching and not watching is also Trinity, if she chooses to be conscious, Christ conscious. You see, the Matrix resurrection, and pardon me, but I didn't watch it, so I can't give you all the reviews. But what I can tell you, as soon as I heard it, I heard the ancestors speak and said, really now? You're Trinity. They're making movies about you? Uh-huh. Well, I'm here, and you can touch and smell me, and I smell good. Trinity is alive and well because we're all characters. And we're just letting others do what they want to do to us because we're all letters. And what is a letter but a symbol? Something that makes a sound and can come together and make a word. And all of us, well, some people think that they're more than that, but you ain't nothing but a word. And we come together and we make sentences. And together we act. But we have to stop acting like just letters, like how you just let people do things. That's a letter. You're a letter. And if you reduce yourself just to a letter, that's exactly how they win. Because you just let them do what they want to do. And so when you talk about the Matrix resurrection, no, this is the Asarian resurrection, darlings. This is Asar or Set resurrection. Because Trinity, the fourth, the resurrection, she's on her throne. She realizes who she is. Just she was going under another name, an alias. Well, if you looked at my credit report, it has many aliases on it because people either spelled it wrong or they said I did it to be incognito, but no, it's the spelling. So, yes, you might think that you are something by which you're calling yourself an appellation, but you're here again to get this right. You just have to remember now. And it's up to the woman to do so. I just know that I'm the Trinity. And I know that all the women in my lineage, they represent the faithful woman. And while I'm on the subject, I want to give my condolences to my brother, Dr. Khalid Botanica, for losing his faithful mother.
Yes, yes.
Because, well, he is her only begotten son. Now, I'm getting some feedback, something. Is that a noise, a fan or something going on? You hear something? Is it what was that? Was that a fan?
It's no, it's just a feedback for if I turn my mic on.
Oh, that's what, yes. So, yes, and so, Dr. Botanica was his mother's only begotten son. So she comes as also a Christ because it's really what is a title. Christ is a title, it's not a name. And if we were to play around the way the Greeks play, they say it's the Messiah. But they put vowels and they put Messiah. Who is to say that it's not Messiah? Because we are the ones that sire, bear children. That's what it is. So they play around with us and we don't know that we are the Messiah. That's why we don't see in these weeks the Christ on the streets, because the woman is still asleep. She's not Christ conscious. And she opens up her legs and let those in the pearly gates who are neither conscious. So she can't give birth to the Christ because she's sleeping with the devil. So what do we see in the world right now but devilishness? It's simple as 1, 2, 3. Close the pearly gates. And realize that the Greeks, what they've done is continuously have you living in what they want done. We're entering now what they're calling the metaverse, so they say. But I say we're already in it because it's altered. Meta is altered. I have many things that I can show, but I say, well, my goodness, it's 2 hours. And, you know, I love to use my whiteboard, eh? So that some people who are not just audio, but are visual, they can get the picture so that this video would be useful, because everybody just don't like talking. So I try to mix it up with a little audio, a little visual, and sorry, you can't touch me. You just have to reach out and put your hand on the phone or the screen or something. So what this is about is that I'm a cosmosan, okay? And this is all about cosmology wellness. And I do research. Some people would say, yes, you know, you play with numbers and call me a numerologist, and that's fine. Whatever you want to call me is fine. But it's not just to help people to know, you know, for, you know, brag rights. Oh, yeah, I'm a number, master number, I'm a this. A lot of people just want to know, you know, where they fall in and what's their situation. My purpose in knowing numbers is because that's how the angels speak. So I don't have to worry about the English or the Greek to stay under their weakness. I'm strong because I know numbers. And that's how we begin to change everything, like 1, 2, 3. Because 1, 2, 3 is 6. And 6 is sex. And 1, 2, 3 times 3 is 369, the code to the universe, and that's fine. See? So now, once you know what your vibration is, you know what the thought pattern is as well, because that's all we are. We're just thoughts. But we haven't accepted that. At least many haven't. Some have. I'm not going to speak for all, but it's not enough because we're a collective consciousness. I could change everything easy as 1, 2, 3 if I could just wake up everybody at the same time, or at least the majority. But we're playing with each other because so many don't want to come out of the matrix. And Trinity has to help because she has to wake up herself. And that's what this is about. The Asar or set resurrection, not the matrix resurrection. Oh, that was real cute what they wanted to pull off. Oh yeah, real cute. Real cute. But you see, the resurrection is what they've been hiding behind, and they know that it's easy to find out, but they didn't teach you all those things about numbers. So I'm going to share with you some things. If you have your pen and your paper, you should be writing it down because this comes like a class so that you can see it for yourself, because I don't have time to waste. Because we're going and coming and we're apart. We don't have our village to raise our child. And too many are here already and they've been shut up. So everything that we do from this point is to collect ourselves and get together immediately. because it's the resurrection. But at the same time, we have to look to perfection because that's what we are. We're perfect. We're all in all, aren't we? So we have the power. We're forces of nature. Have we accepted that? Because when we get forced to do something, it's a force. And that's why in those same movies, they say, may the force be with you. It always is. But you just don't know which force it is because energy is always flowing in and out. So it makes it a little chaotic because it's energy. And those that are opposing are really us too. But they're the opposite force that's challenging you. And their Greekness is to keep things in chaos. But Ma'at and Aset is about order. So you see, it's always in this time about chaos and order. And they know this. But are we going to resurrect Asar now? Because that is our story. And all we have to do is put on our African clothes, stop doing those things that they want us to do, like eat their foods that kill us. We just have to stop it. And that's called discipline. You see, 14 is the number 5. And if you have no discipline, you can't stop nothing. See, I could break down this story so nicely. You see, the 14 pieces that they cut up Asar in, or should I just say, not they, but it was 72 who conspired to kill Asar. But it ended up being just his brother who tricked him to get him inside that ornamental casket. So you have the story whereas Asar gets tricked and he gets into this ornamental casket and they send it down the river. But the faithful woman and her sister, they go to look for it. They find it. But then Set realizes that she found it, and then he cuts it up and scatters him into pieces. So Set gets those pieces with her faithful sister by her side. And that's what I always say I need is a faithful sister, a ride or die and a ride or do, so that we can get this matrix, back where it needs to go. You see, in our hands, because it's the Matrix, and we're playing tricks on ourselves if we think that it's somebody else that's going to be our savior when it's us. So what I'm saying here is that the story has more than one meaning, because the word meaning also means two things. Everything in this duality is just that, the duality. So do I mean what I say? Yes. Or am I mean with what I'm saying? See? So when you talk about the ride or die and the ride or do sister, with her sister after her consort has been cut up into 14 pieces, if you look at what everybody just celebrated, not everybody, but so many, once again, too much people of the consciousness did. The 25th of December. If we look at the 24th, the evening, the what they call it, the Xmas Eve. Well, the Xmas Eve is meaning that the sun was set. So what a perfect time to get caught up in the eve. And that is the same relationship to the story about Jesus and Judas that they stole. See, the Greeks, once again, they're at it so much. Jesus, Zeus, But we're far away from our story. So now in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus, right, is in there in the night when the sun was set. And he got set up by Judas. Hear me now. Hear me good. Jesus got set up. And this is in their scripture. See, he got set up by Judas. So Judas was playing set. Because he also set up the Jesus. And he kissed him, according to their story, how they wrote it. For us to know it, of course. And so then what happens though? A fight breaks out. And they end up taking Judas. So you see now how that gets twisted from the story of Asar. When he's cut up into 14 pieces, but the faithful woman puts him back together again, every single part of him except the thallus. Wow. So if we want to talk about that story, right? Let's just say she couldn't get pregnant because she was the virgin, because the marriage was not consummated. So her and her sister, well, after playing tricks in the first place, decided, well, they're going to make a golden thallus to make the golden child. Golden thallus, golden child. So all the women out there who messing around with dirty penises, you're not making no golden child. It needs to be a golden penis, okay? That's why I said parental advisory, parental advisory. So now, if you're looking at the story, she had a golden penis. That meant that she wanted the spirit of her beloved to come through that golden thallus. Because some people don't know the word thallus, okay? So that's why I have to say penis. Because they say, what is a thallus? It's like a chalice? Is that a cup? No, a thallus meaning a penis, not a chalice. So the thallus, being golden, brought forth the spirit of Asar coming through to impregnate her. What day might that have been? Since the eve of the 24th, that might be a good thing for us to start thinking about. When might this all have happened? All this story that our ancestors left us about this. And it's a story about teaching us how to behave, by the way. So then I said, well, let me figure this out here for a minute. Is it possible that it was Xmas Eve? Because the cutting down also, and the X, even though it's the female's chromosome, it also looks like some scissors, and it's X, meaning cut out. So let's say that Asar got cut up on the eve of Xmas. And on the 25th, let me see if I can show you something here. So if you have your paper, you can write on it. Let's see. Let me see. I don't know if this is going to be backwards or the best way. Am I looking backwards? Let me see. Do you see 25 there? Can you see 25? Or is it dark?
It's right. It's right.
I think I just knocked down the light. Hold on. One second. Let me get the light there. Is that a little bit better?
It's a shadow.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
Okay.
And so, by the way, that's why I need a videographer, and I can't seem to pay anybody. They don't want money. Okay, is that not good? Let me see something else. Maybe I can do this. I'll try something else. Okay, so everybody then, you write on your paper 25. All right, let me see. So you write on your paper 25. Now, if you have 25, 25 also, if you look at a 5, it also looks like an S. And if you look at the 5, it looks like someone going both ways. Okay? Let me see if I can show you on this way. Let me see. Can you see that? 25? No? Can you see 25, Naila?
Yes.
All right. So if you see this here, 5, right? And you see that looks like an S right there. Can you see that?
Yes.
All right. So then you have on the 25th, you have 2 sisters going to look for the Phallus, right? Now, if you take what they were looking for, right? The 6 days, that's when you get to your 31, right? You see? Can you see that? Are you there? Are you there?
I keep muting it because I'm not trying to get you to echo. So
I was trying to see if you could see what I was saying because I wasn't facing it.
Yes.
Okay. You were able to see?
Yes.
All right. So you have the 25 and looks like an S. And then for 6 days, they say they're traveling. And then you get to 31, which would be the so-called New Year's Eve, right? And then you get now 1, 1, and that's your January 1st, right? Okay. So now what you have here is the golden Phallus, which is about sex, her having sex, which is the 6. And let's say for 6 days, they were looking all about for this Phallus. So now when this Eve comes, right? All right. You now look at the 1, 1, which is 11, really, but it's tricks here. The 1 is still the sun that she has, the sun, because that's what she wants, which name was the Greeks are calling Horus, which we know as Heru. So Horus, sun or horizon. They traveled everywhere, right? And found the Phallus within 6 days, and which is sex. And when she basically, let's say the spirit of, and when we're looking at 11, the 1, 1, which is the number for spirit, and also the chaos of finding the Phallus, okay? And the making of this sun, which is the 1, okay? You had to get some fireworks. To make a baby, you have to have fireworks. So that's why they say Happy New Year. See, well, anyway, Happy New Year. You get what I'm saying? You could write that. They say Happy New Year because really, it's really happy ending. Did you see that? Were you able to see that? Kind of on the book, were you able to see what I was writing?
Happy New Year is happy ending.
Well, no, really, because it's an yes, exactly, because it's a happy ending for her.
No, you know why I hope you know why I'm laughing. Y'all know why I'm laughing.
That's exactly what I meant. Exactly, because look, I told you when I do massage that some man asked me did I do happy ending, and I didn't even know what a happy ending was, and I told him, oh no, and I don't do happy beginning either. And for $65, when I used to do the massage an hour, was 65. And he told me that the Asian woman does it for like 125. I said, well, you still have plenty change. Go get it from them. Get the rest. Go get the ending. But this is therapeutic. But yes, so what I'm saying here is that you can see that the Happy New Year is the 1, 1, but is the sun, and it is 11, which is when you use the Pythagorean method, you're going to get Jesus, Zeus. Okay? Zeus is what you're getting. And you know that the 1 represents the sun. So now they're making a mockery again because people are going out, they're buying gifts and doing all this stuff and making it a holiday, a holly, frolicking folly day. And those are our holy days, holy. And see, once again, instead of us talking about peace on earth, the way they sing that song for that holiday, it's peace on earth, really? No, it's pieces all scattered about on the earth from Asar being cut up. And it's time for us to resurrect our son and have our consort spirit come through. That's what time it is. And every time around this time of year, because it's not that far gone, we should be thinking of the stories that our Kemet ancestors gave us so that we know how to behave. Because what this is about really is about several things that they wanted us to know. Let's see. 14 pieces. Those are also tribes, nations scattered all about that we would not know one another. See? Because 5 also represents family. It represents our genes that were scattered all about. I wish I could really bring this to you better with my board. I tried to get someone over here and pay them, and they still didn't show up. I tell you, just to do videography, because this is like very, very important, because we have to pull it together.
You can show the board. You were showing it before.
It was was it coming okay? All right. Yeah. I thought it was too dark. Let me see if I put this light on, if the light will be too, like, will it, I don't know. Let me see. I don't want to get too, let's see. All right. So you can see the board, okay? All right. So then we did, all right. Let me find something to erase with right about now. Let's see. This, all right. So we can erase that 25. So now, what we can do too, let me see if I push this light a little bit. All right, make more light. But so now, when we talk about the fact that, first of all, they were making a mockery of us because it's our holy day to remind us about what was happening, about Asar being cut up by his brother, how there's no love there, is hatred in the family there. And by the fact that our set, she gets a golden penis to make the spirit of her beloved come through so that she could give birth to a son. Now, in order for a son to be birthed, the woman has to give away her power. So that meant that she was in love with Asar, and she wanted to produce another one like him. And how many of us did that as women? We give away our power to our partner so that he can see himself.
Can I interject?
Sure.
It makes me think about the Matrix, even though a lot, like I said, they weren't using melanated woman and man in those roles of Trinity and Neo. But if you look at the saga of the first 3, you see how, I think at one point, she talked about, I think in the first one, how Morpheus was looking for the one, and I believe Neo asked if she had been considered, or if she was, had been considered at one point as the one. And for some reason, even though she was very powerful, she seemed to have acquiesced and tried to put all she had into Neo, into, as we talked about, into the child, to make him great. And in so doing, she put herself on the back burner, and just let what she had be, just dissipate, because she gave it to him. So that's in the first 3. You didn't see the 4th. But in the 4th one, not spoiler alert, y'all, for that haven't seen it. But in the 4th one, now she's in a daze about who she is. She's under, some kind of an illusion of the Matrix, as you call it, which they call it.
She's under the Greek week.
She's under the Greek week. She doesn't know who she is. She's got another name. And, Neo, the one who you say is the baby, because the Neo, like neonatal, the baby now doesn't even know who he is, but he has glimpses of memories of something. So he creates a game which he calls the matrix, not realizing that that's the place where he came from. The
Mm-hmm.
womb, the matrix, where you come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't.
Right.
He sees her and recognizes her, and she thinks she recognizes him, but by now she's somebody else. She's Tiffany, sort of a semblance of, not Trinity. She's Tiffany. She's got a husband and 2 children, but is that really who she is? So when it all comes down to the final come down, it depends on her. And I'm giving honor where honor is due. I heard Rashad Jamal break this down much far better than I could do it, in that he was saying that the divine feminine and the divine masculine resides in the male and the female, but only the female has the third part, which is the God particle, so to speak, or the Godhead. So therefore, we are the Trinity, because the male does not have that. They have 2. They can have 2, some of one and more of the other, or less of whatever, but they can't have all 3. And that 4th one, you see that it all hinges on Trinity coming to our senses. So it makes me think of the picture on the question, the Morse questionnaire, when you see the woman who's unconscious and humanity's on her womb, because it comes to us. It's up to us to come to our senses, to come back, to life and power in order to save the world.
Yes. I feel like there's this huge weight on my shoulders because I'm a grandmother. You see, when I was younger, at 18, even younger than that, maybe 16, so I really used to say things like, what the hell is wrong with these old people? Why they can't just fix this world so? And it was just disgusting. And as a child, even younger than 16, you're thinking that a child is a child and they don't have these thoughts, they just want to play. But remember, they are short and they're looking up. So they look and they can see everything. The eyesight is fresh, it's clear, not like your eyes been here and they're old and, got mucus behind from the head coming down, So children can see very clear. Very clear. Their immune system isn't jacked. They're alive, And so as a young person, I wanted to know what was wrong with these old people. They don't see what I see. So now, fast forward, I'm the old person now, but the same soul who said those things. So now I feel like, well, now it's on my shoulders. I have to make a difference because I'm the grandmother. I have grandchildren who must feel like I did and still do. So you see, this is the part that we have to know that we have returned. And some of us have died. A lot of parts of us have died. The part where you had to live in fear because of this number. 1, 2, 3, which equals 6. And that's what we're talking about. Everything is sex. Everything is sex. That's how we get here. And the cutting up of Asar was about sex. See? And the fact that Osset was not able to bear a child, and her sister came up with an idea. And so Set gets upset, feeling that Asar slept with his partner, but it was in the dark, and it was just something that the 2 sisters thought to do to help one another. See, so there was all of this going on in the family feud. See? And then you have their parents, because remember, they were young too. They didn't know. Asar and Osset, the way the story was, they were not older. They were the children. And people think that, like they say, like Geb and Newt, and when it comes down to our stories. So we have to look at those things. And what did the children do? Those same children are telling us a story about how we supposed to live because of generations that were really cut up into pieces, 14 pieces. But when you do the United States of America and you add it up, you get 14.5. They know what they're doing, these Greeks in disguise. You see? And then when you look at, okay, Noble Drew Ali, let's just do it. Let's just go in. Let's go in now. Noble Drew Ali returned again, just as I have returned again. And I'm here to set the record straight as I possibly can to bring everybody together in love. That's what my thought was when I'm going out in the wave, in the ripples. And now I'm playing in the field, the energetic field. There is no me, there's no you. But we want to believe that there is. Okay, fine. Well, then let's play like it is. But what is your role to play? Noble Drew Ali, he came back too. And his life path was 14.5. Oh, wow. Why is that? Because he came to set the record straight with Asar and Set. The pieces that were scattered all about. His challenge, his life path, 14.5. His challenge was to bring the pieces back together again. So that's all he sought to do, was resurrect Asar. See? And when did they kill him? They killed him on my son's birthday 60 years later. On the 20th of July. That is my son's Earth Day, 60 years later. And that is, my son is born then, but Noble Drew Ali was killed 60 years to that date of 7/20. And when we're looking at all of these things, we're seeing the number 3, the Trinity, all around. Smell. I smell something. I said, I smell something. All right, y'all, I smell it. Something smells a little funky here. It seems like there's something going on again. And it is. And you see, when you look at the 14.5 and you're looking at Noble Drew Ali's life, it's all about one again, the sex. Why so? The 6? Because that's sex, but sex has got misscrewed with love. And let me just show you something about the Noble Drew Ali here, which is so interesting because Noble Drew Ali came before Malachi Z. York. And Malachi Z. York gave reference to Noble Drew Ali, but his life path is 15.6. So Malachi Z. York came to set the record straight also of Noble Drew Ali. But he got what? Just like Noble Drew Ali. Set up. Set again. See, and Set is the one that chopped up Asar. But who's going to set this record straight? Set. Because Asar and Set are titles. They are not names of people. They are titles. Just like Grand Sheik or Emperor or any of those names. They're titles. So when you have Noble, that is also saying what you are. And Noble Drew Ali, he came to do that, to bring about the light, because everybody was getting set up by Set, ripped up in 14 pieces. And right now the Moors are still less. They haven't come together yet. So what is going on? It's time to resurrect Asar. See? The Matrix resurrection? Oh no. Oh no. It's Asar resurrection. It's Set resurrection. We are the Trinity and I'm here. And I can show you this. Malachi Z. York, his life path is 15-6. So you have 14-5 for Noble Drew Ali, and you have 15-6 for Dr. York. Now, Dr. York, initiate what? Discipline for the family to have love. And he was set up by his what? Family, because remember, there's negative integers and positive integers. So the force that was coming at him already knows this, because that is when I talk about we don't supposed to, as Africans, have our birth information out there, because they know exactly what to do to us. Because we're the force. They know what force we are by seeing how we came in. Those numbers are our vibration, is what we are sent to be. And we're only on that thought pattern. There's nothing else that was thought of that we're supposed to do. We're on purpose. So when you look at Noble Drew Ali, they initiated a force against him, the one, which was his challenge here. And then the 4, Noble Drew Ali came to initiate everybody being on their square, on their resurrection, because this is the matrix resurrection. He came to initiate the throne, the 4, the square. And the 4 is none other than a chair upside down. Can you see that? Can you see it okay? Can you see it okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So then the 4 is none other than a square upside down. So now what was his challenge? Get people to be disciplined. See? The discipline. And this is also, but once again, Asar, a set, the 14 pieces and the 5 and the sisters who were scattered all about. Or the people, because we're 5 based. 5 based, even so. So you have the force that realizes this is Noble Drew Ali. This is really him, because we're really not the body. We're the energy. He's the force. So he would be the force that they already know, they're ahead of us, that is initiating us to be on our throne, so that we have discipline and our freedom, because 5 is freedom. 5 is going where it wants to go. It's going here, it's going there, it's going there. See? And that's why if you look at, okay, let me stay with here, Malachi Z. York, then here comes Malachi York after Noble Drew Ali, and then he's initiating once again. Now, what Noble Drew Ali left off here, to get the people, the family, some freedom, but we have to do what? Love. But they set him up with sex by his what? Family. If I want to set up anybody, I can set up anybody once I know their birthday, because I know how they are feeling. So these are the energies of Noble Drew Ali and Malachi Z. York. And Malachi Z. York wants love. And that is why his publications always was talking about the actual facts, which is his life path 15-6, which is also all about the family, the common unity, the community, the village, the children. But they use the fact that they know this and set him up about this. And then they also know Noble Drew Ali's challenge was the 5, which is Mercury, which is lungs. And they say that he died of pneumonia. This is Greek bullshit. This is them knowing us, and that's why the phone is really costing us too much, because we paying $100 a month for them to spy on us, and some people paying more than that. So this is why they get the jump on us, and this is why I said that really we have to come together and live closer. And I am the Trinity, no doubt about it. And I have returned. And it's not my first, as they say, rodeo. And neither yours, Naila, aka Dr. G Trinity. So now, what are they doing? They also, I probably need a bigger eraser type thing here. Let me get something bigger because that might take longer. All right. If I get something quick. Yeah, okay, I got something. All right. So now, if you're looking at what else are they doing? Well, very simple. You're writing this down. I hope so. The virus. The virus, simple. They're Greek names. We won't mention them, but they're Greek. And they're the Greek alphabet. One being, what we can say this, begins with a D. You know what that is? It's like the Delta Airlines flying all about. And then you got the singer like Omarion making sounds everywhere, right? But when you look at that too, it equals 6. The Delta Airlines, when you transpose it, and that's why I said this class was not for babies, because I'm not going to do all that. Everybody should know how to transpose by now. So if you transpose it, and not with the gematria, because if you do it in gematria, gematria will have the Omarion virus with it being an 87, which is still 6. And then my thing was like, I didn't even need to do it in the gematria. As I said, I'm here again. I just look at it and go, oh, they're up to their stinking tricks again. You already see the word micro in that. Well, Microsoft, Bill Gates, right there. And then you see the O, which is the last letter of the Greek alphabet, which is 24. Wow. So now you got the end O, the end, which is also omega, which is death. So now you have a little death because it's micro, it's a nano death. And we already smell the rat with Bill Gates all over it, the micro. And then if you do the gematria, you see that his name also equals 87, the same as the virus. Anything after 2 is no longer coincidence. And then if you look at delta, it also equals 6. Why? Because everything is sex. And when they set up Asar, it was 72 that conspired to get him in that ornamental coffin. So we're talking about 72. Let me see. All right. Okay. Come on now, pen. Let's go, marker. Oh boy. All right. So 72. All right. So 72. And we already know that the world is backwards. Backwards and upside down. That's how they do everything. It's backwards and backwards. Why? Because they're casting spell. And when you want to cast spell, you do things backwards. Right. And you want to reverse a spell, you have to do it backwards too. See, everything has to be back and front. So now you got 72 that conspired against Asar. That's the same number as 27. Now, when you look at that 27, what is that also? That's the number of them voting for 270. That's the number of the 2700 of the Bohemian Grove, the acres. That's there. 27. Why is all of this? Because it's all about the 9, but the 9 ether. The 2 9 ether beings, or the 2 gods. Asara said. And just so happens that 7 is the number of Aset. Now, when you look at this also, this is telling our story because our ancestors meant for us to know numbers. 27 is also the number that represents penis and vagina. If you transpose them, you're going to see that penis and vagina is equal to 27 because everything is all about sex. How do you get 9 without 27? How do you get to have a baby 9 without having 2 gods and goddesses who know what they're doing to create someone who is high vibe? Because the 9 is up here, then the head. If we know how to have sex, then we know how to create because we are gods and goddesses. We don't make baby by accident. You create them by knowing your numbers. What month are they going to come in? What day are they going to come in? So now, I hope you got your pen because here we go. I'm going to show you something. Oh, maybe somebody going to give me some help too. Because this kind of thing should be real, like a videographer. So I could real show off. Oh, Trinity want to show off right now. So now, when you have what we just went through on the 25, and then you got the 2 sisters, the 2S going across, right? And then you got them 6 days, and then you come across and you come on down this way, you get the 1/1, January 1st. If you look on the matrix, when you see on the door, it was 101. And even in this matrix here, they're still talking about the same number 11 because that's souls coming in and out. So on January 1st, that's exactly what happened. It was Asar's soul, his spirit, that came through the golden Phallus to make the golden child, or call the Christ now, or Heru, our hero. See? So this is what you're looking at. When you look at the matrix, the 101, which is tricky because still that's 10 plus 1, which is 11. And January 1st is the same thing, 1/1. But here's the trick. The way they do this, they put a line there. Who is that? But the 3, the 1, 2, 3, the Trinity. Oh, I hope you're liking this, eh? So when they're saying truly Happy New Year, it's because of our set. And our set is the Trinity right there. See? So this is what you're seeing, that 101. And if you go back and you look on the last matrix, you're also going to see that they changed the number, but the numbers still add up to 11. Because 11 is the souls coming through, and that is the chaos that set causes. Because set makes the chaos. And when the body parts are all scattered around and a set has to go and look for them, she's in chaos. The woman is in chaos looking for her love. She wants to find she man, yes? Where's my man? All my pieces. I need the pieces. And oh my goodness, I can't find the main part. Oh my gosh. The penis. That's what the woman fell in love with too. That caused her to lose her power. Because, you know, they say that the woman fell in love with her creation. Well, what did she create? She created her son that had the spirit of her mate because she gave away her power. But she also created that golden penis. Golden penis, not a plastic one like most women using. Huh? You know what I'm saying? Plastic penis. A set use a golden penis. Why today you can't find the Christ in the world? Because they're using too much plastic penis because they haven't put the man back together again. They're not faithful. The woman not faithful to go all about and say, hey, I got to put this man together. Instead, they just rush in. They'll take any kind of man. And the man don't want any kind of woman, though. Only for a minute he might take her, but he don't want her for long. He only wants her for a short time because he has to go in to tap her in order to feel creative, because that's where all of creation is. It's inside the woman. So when that man goes inside her, he comes out feeling like, woo, because he just tapped creativity. He went into a whole nother world. So that is one part of that story. The other part is about the sex, the generations, where 14 pieces scattered all about. All of those that would be made from Osset, giving birth to Heru, our hero, who the Greeks call, Horus, all under the sun. Everybody is scattered all about. So this story is to remind us that, faithful woman, you have some things you have to do. You got to make sure that when you get with a mate, that he's got a golden penis. Yeah. Not no, just any kind. And if you feel like you're lonely, maybe you need to channel that energy, because that's creative energy, and you don't need to go get a plastic penis either. Yeah, I said that. So now let's keep going, because what they want to do is take us out of our mind of all of that, so that we don't realize that we are the Trinity, the woman, and that we are the Christ. Because how can you get a Christ without having a Christ? See, you have to have a Christ first to get a Christ. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. So now you are a Christ, and you are supposed to have the Christ consciousness, so that the 9 months that the child is in you is learning from you how to be the Christ coming out into the world, but not of it. It's you, woman, it's you. And brother, you know that you have to honor your mother, as I honor many mothers that are even not mine, because I know that it is meant for them to be honored as the divine. But even going through all the things that we've been going through, it comes like, now is the time. And I'm going to tell you why. Because 6, oh boy, malfunction, 62 and 63. That's what time it is. I don't know if you can see, boy, it's not so great, but I'm hoping that you can. I can't see comments, I can't see anything, but anyway, 62, 63, that's Kemet, year, number 8. So it is an 8th year, 62, 63, according to the Egypt calendar. And 8 is DNA. So why are they pushing all this boost? Because according to our year, we're at the bridge, which is number 8, 62, 63. That's what year we're in. And after 8 comes what? 9. So, boy, now, so what we have here is the reason, oh boy, I keep having to go and get this thing. If it keeps dropping, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm doing the best I can, family, here. So now what they want us to do, right, is all of a sudden, Facebook goes and say that they're becoming Meta, right? They want to become Meta, not better, but Meta. And then they have this crazy symbol, but it's altered. So it's also meta, which means altered. And if you look at the symbol that they have, it's also not a complete 8. It's slightly altered as well. And meta equals 3. And then you have your 8, really, and which comes down to 11. So what do they want us to do? Enter into the metaverse, and verse equals 6. So now you want the meta to be the 3, and then this DNA or the infinity symbol is 8, and 3 and 8 is 11. See? So now when you add the verse, you get 6. So now you have 11. Whoops. You have 11 and you have 6, which you get 17, and then you get 8. Hope it's maybe you can see that, hopefully. I'm doing the best I can. So basically here, it's what they want to do to the children, because the focus has been made on the child. Remember, the focus is on Christ, not Trinity. It's on the child. And Neo really is the child that is sitting on Trinity's lap, because Neo is a child and Trinity is the throne. And she's the one, because the one is also the 3. The one is 3-sided. Remember, I told you that we is just like a tube. So you have the top, you have the bottom, and face on too. All right? So you have this metaverse, which is all coming into an 8. So the 8 simply means that finances. So everything that is going on is really based on what we have established with our own time, Kemet. But they're using our time, but telling us it's another time. It's time we wake up, though, and get into our own time frame, because it's a movie. So we're in a frame. It's a frame of time. And it's also a frame of mind. But it has to get out of that frame because it's in a box. It's in the matrix. I'm hoping that I'm explaining it well. Now, the next thing too is that we're going to talk about here is some other notes that I wrote for you, is that this. When you look at the viruses that are Greek as well, you're talking about what they really want to do. They want to keep you tied into this year, and many numerologists are talking about this 2022. Well, it is, according to the Greek week, that everybody's going to be under, because you're now also in a 6th year. And that 6 is also about food and nutrition and sex and housing and entertainment and moving all about. But it's a lower nature. And really, if we're looking at our Greek week, we're looking at 8, which is all about our DNA. That's what we're supposed to be focused on. How are we mating or not? What are our finances looking like or not? How are we generating in our generations or not? Because that would mean that we're going in alignment with Kemet, and we are resurrecting Asar, and we're not living in a daze to be weak like the Greeks. And now what they have us in a 2026 is that the energy that you'll be under would be wanting people to be more sexual. So this is why they manipulated the 8, the DNA, and they want to alter it as in like the metaverse, so that you cannot procreate. They want to keep you, boom, cut up in pieces, scattered all about. No unification. So now what do? We wake up. Woman, no more sleeping beauty. Now, what we can do here too is realize that 2022, right? It has a very powerful number, 22, which is a master number, and then we have a 2. So you have this 2, and you have 24, which is 6. So you have these energies that are going to tell you need to be on your square, you need to be thinking in authority, and you need to be thinking about business. And that's on the positive, and also about your family, because 6 is all about the family and nurturing and love. So in terms of what we're looking at too, we see the 4 of Noble Ali, and we see the 6 of Malachi. And you see the 2 of them wanting to unify us as united souls. All of their energies is in this year. It's time that we do it, because that's what they were sent for. And those who are controlling things, they know this. And this is why they also, I'm going to just say it, cut Dr. Sebi out. See, they cut him out of the picture. And they played back the same play. Do you know that if you play one play and it works, if you go and play football, and it's always ball. Why? Because it's a joke. The white ball, like when they play golf, always wants to go into the earth. Get it? Wants to go in the hole of the earth. All right. But anyway, the energies, right, are present here of Malachi and Noble Ali. They were sent. You are sent as well to live and play your role. But the whole thing is that most people think that they just have to do what they have to. But if you don't know what your energy is and what force of nature you are, then you're off course. Of course, you're off course. And that is all about the golf course. Taking the ball and hitting it right into the hole. Slam. No love, just slam. See? And that's all about the sex. And that's what time we're living in. It's time to nurture one another. It's time to bring about that love and that being on the square. The way Malachi York was set up, and Noble Ali set up, and Dr. Sebi set up and cut out. Because why? They were about bringing the people together. Dr. Sebi had mentioned that the Usha village was going to not cost anyone to come, because all we had to do was just pay everything off, donate and pay it all off. And from that point on, you just come. You make your appointment and just come. Now, perhaps there were those who did not like that, even in his family, because there was family feud. The same with Malachi York, family feud. The same with Asar or Set, family feud. How long this feud been going on? Too long, is what I say. So I'm asking the woman who might be listening, are you going to be Trinity? And are some of the brothers going to be Heru? Because we need a Heru right now. This is our year. This is the 62 63 year. So that means that next year, well, not even next year. Here, let me show you this. This ought to be good. Oh, here we go. So we got 62. And then what I said again, because sometimes I forget too. I'm trying to listen to myself and talk at the same time. So we got 62, 63, which is going to be right there, an 8, right? So you got 8 and you got 9, and boom, you got the 17, 8. And if you were doing your math, you would have saw that when I did the Metaverse, what did the Metaverse come to? 17, 8. So they know what time it is, but we don't seem to know what time it is. See, remember, and I'm going to say it, if you even can rewind the tape back when you're looking at it, you're going to see that 11 and that 6 is 17, which now you are getting the 17, 8. So that means that after 62, 63 is 64. So that means we'll be in a 9 year. But when would that 9 happen? 911. How interesting, because this is the Kemet New Year. So this is January 1, when the happy ending started. And if we were to count roughly 9 months, we would get to right here, September. And it takes about 10 days when the woman is ovulating. So that means that when you add the 10 to the 11, you would get 911. And you know, they set off some fireworks again on 911. And that was when the Twin Towers came down in the where? The Big Apple. But let's look at this again. Examination is what we must do. We must ask questions. So when you're seeing the 911, you're seeing that 9, 10, 11, even in that way. But if we talk about this 9 month, and we know that it is September, right? Okay. Let's see. August is the 8th month, and then September being the 9th month, which would be 7, and then 1, 1. I don't know if you can see that, so much shadows, but you would see 711, which is Aset and Haru, or Horus. Aset, the number 7, and once again, the 11, which is Jesus, which we know to be Heru, 711, which is really September 11, or the tricks that they play, 911. It's very hard to be talking to myself because I don't know if, where did my sister go? There she goes. I'm talking to myself.
I'm here. I'm letting you go solo so they can see the better.
Because I need the feedback only because I can't see if everybody can see on the board of the shadows and stuff too.
No. So there's no shadows.
Okay, great. All right, well then that's great.
Solo, then they can see the board.
All right, well that's good. So now we can see that is what's going on here. So we are actually in our power year, because as this is being the year in Kemet right now, 62, 63, which is an 8, this is our power year, which started in September of 2021. So now all the way up until September of this year, we're in that power year of 8, finances and security, but we're looking and playing around with the 2022. So we're in 2 realities. because we're in the Greek week of 2022, but in truth, we're Kemet. And this is what they're using against us, because this is the Metaverse, the 17-8, which is still 8, which is us. And that's why they changed everything to the meta, because the attack is on us, on our genes. Okay? The sex, the 27, the penis and the vagina is all about our DNA. And that's what the 8 represents. I'm hoping that this is clear so that we can come together, because less is more. And what that means is that more is less. And I will explain that too. When you are more, you have less weight. See? Less weight on your shoulders, because you know who you are. And you know that everything is yours. So to be more is to be less, or some say bless. When you are more, all we need is one another, because I see you as myself, a God particle. So to be more is to be less. And when we be less, we will be more. Simple as 1, 2, Trinity. Now, when we look at what they were doing, once again, it's so much to show that they did this, the G7 summit. Because this is all about what? The G, and you can see the G, and you can see the 7 right here, or I can just make the 7. And that's the same thing that the dark priesthood and whatever they like to wear on their rings. But this G7 is 7-7, which is equal to 14-5. So what is this summit really all about? It's really about us, our story, the Asarian rise that they never want. And when you see 7-7, it's not just the normal eye. Most people would just see 7-7. But no, I see it's 2 7s. Once again, 2 7s, which equals 9, which is the penis and the vagina, and which also is our DNA. That's what this is about. And what else they do is that we have this Greek society that is confusing us, but every time we want money, right, it always involves some type of sex, exchange. And when you talk about that, you go to the ATM, because the man, right, he wants to take the penis wants to take the vagina out. The vagina is not trying to take the penis out. The penis here wants to have the power. So it's like, okay, I got some money. I'm a man. I have this, I have that. But the woman, she now is open right here in that V, and she's just letting all her power just come out everywhere. So the man goes to the ATM, right? He goes to God, because the ATM is God. In God we trust. But who is God? Atum. You see how the Greek play? You go to the ATM, but that's when they say in God we trust, but the ATM is Atum, Atum Re, Atum Ra. So this is what we're missing out on. There you go, your ATM. To get your withdrawal. And that is what a man does when he has sex. He withdraws or he deposits. Okay? Now, ain't that something, huh? You see, they got us in chaos, because that's what the opposition is all about. They're setting everybody up for the destruction of their will, because that's what the fight is about. Never lose sight of that. It's all about your will. what you will or what you won't. Because if you are God or guardian, that means that you are over everything else and you will do what you want. So they're fighting you and saying you must, and they're mandating, and they're saying you must, and they're taking your will and your trust. And it's all about really taking our land and our language, because that's what we are. We're the land. We're our mother. The body is the mother, and the more is the land. And so when you go into this G7 summit, you see that the whole discussion is about who? Asar or Set, the G7, the 14-5. And when you look at, they also have something called the G2. So when you look at the G2, that is when they was going to discuss about the so-called health situation too, and all of the ministers got together. You see 7 and you see 2. And when I told you who was the ones that actually set up Asar, were the 72, which is the 27, once again, which is all about sex. Sex means that who is procreating on this earth? Who is going to govern the earth? That's what the sex is all about. Who is going to have the rights to live on this piece of earth, of real estate? And in what state are you going to live in? Are you going to live in your own state? Are you going to govern your own state, your own state of mind? Are you going to have your own will? Or will you be lost in space? Just like, I don't know who is out there like my age. But there was the whole TV show program called Lost in Space.
Will Robinson.
That's right. And Will was his name, and Will was lost in space. And that is what's going on today. Too many people, Will is lost in space. And when they were speaking in that same TV episode, all the thing that was being said in the background was crush, kill, destroy, crush, kill, destroy. They just want to crush, kill, and destroy Will's will. And that's what this whole thing is about. Even from a child, I'm like, wait, no, growing up too again, seeing. So this is the plan all along, to crush, kill, destroy. Now, for those of you that watched it, I might sound just like the, the thing, crush, kill, destroy, crush, kill, destroy. And Will was lost in space. So we have to get our will together, because that is our willpower. And so the Greek have you weak with no willpower, because you're under the days of the week. And how do you get strong? Let's talk about solution. All right. Because now we know the problem. Well, there's a few problems though. The problem is sex. People don't know how to have sex. People don't know how to make love. People don't know the purpose of it. They don't even know when to make it. They just, whatever mood they're in, that's it. Like pop, pop, pop. And we're not teaching our children. And the girls surely don't know, because the grandmothers, well, not all, but many were not taught. And many are not seeking. But according to my children, they always used to say TMI, and I didn't even know what the abbreviation was, but it was called too much information. Because I told them, and I told my sons about a woman and what she likes. And I told my daughters too, but when we don't have a village, it's hard to cultivate a young star, because that's what we're supposed to be cultivating, not kids. So if I hear any more people on these conscious or super conscious videos, and they keep using that word kids, I wish I was like the little rascals when they used to drive down the street with a car and it had a little thing inside the car and you could just punch somebody out. I would like to be able to have virtual reality to hear the next so-called super conscious person use the word kid, and I could come through my cell phone and just punch them right in the mouth. Because that's not what we're here for. We're here to make the golden child. And we have to know how to have sex. Now, some of us not going to be procreating any longer. But we can surely teach those that are still hot and heavy because of their hormones and because of the food that they're consuming. Because that is one of the problems. The food. The Greek weak foods. Now, I'm just going to use the term Greek yogurt. All right? Because that's what we're really in right now. We're in some culture and we're having a culture shock because our cells are drowning in that which is in the Greek culture. The mucus. Nothing wrong with the mucus because mucus is what gets us here, slime. So people who just hating on mucus, well, they can go someplace else. This is not the video because I love mucus. But anything in abundance is too much. It's not good. So, but you think about mucus. Mucus protects you. Mucus is how you got here. You came through a dry vagina? No. And the man surely, what came out of him was slime first, before the fireworks, the happy ending, the happy new year. For somebody that's getting ready to come here, it is a happy new year because that's when their year starts. From that day, that is going to be a living soul that is transporting here. So all of this talk about abortion, oh, that was a happy new year. As soon as that sperm hit the egg, happy new year. Yes. So we've been lied to. And our holy days, when we should be fasting and not consuming the Greek yogurt, with all the sweet sugar in it, that really kills the culture. And it kills our culture too, because it's not our culture to be eaten that way. So I'm talking in the duality. So follow me. Now, when you have our cells, right? Why is it that we're dying? Is because we are, number one, having sex out of turn. And when you also have sex out of turn, that can cause an early death. Because number one, you're creating a lot of different souls, and these energies can come here and be at odds with one another. And the world has not even become conscious of self. So then that can cause an early death. Also, the food or the time that the child came in. For instance, they know this. If a child is born, let's say in March, they could suffer from allergies. Just as simple as that. They didn't get enough sun because we were scattered all about and we're not in our indigenous place with sun beaming all the time. So when the child is inside the mother and they're in a cold place, that means that they're not getting enough sunlight. That causes problems for the child, especially if the mother isn't eating right. So now that's a problem because the child can come out simply with mental disorders because we didn't know how to have these children. Now, let me show you this too, if I can here. So we're going to go G2, and now we got the 7 once again, and we got the 2. And then we looking at the 9 ether. I think everybody should know that we are the 9 ether. So the 9 ether means that we're the head right there. Right there, totally head. Now we're in a 6th year, and we're down here in the belly. Everybody's thinking sex, sex, sex. Food, food, food. That's the energy. So what did they want to do? They want to control that. That's why when you look at this, and the negativity of it is going to equal 15, 6, because they're initiating things on the whole family. Remember, it started out with just the so-called older people getting the EBGBs, the experiment. But then it's now the whole family, the 5, everybody initiating, see, on the people. That's what this is right here. And it's 5 is also the number of chaos, because it's going this way, it's going that way, it's going this way, it's going that way. So they're initiating chaos so that you have no love. They're the opposition. But if we were to do just the opposite, because we're the opposite of them, all we have to do now is do just what this is. Initiate the focus and the discipline and the family, and know who we are, so that we're what we would say as we're truly the free Ma sons. It's our science. And that some people would use the word sovereign, because 5, once again, as I showed you with the sisters, is an S. So we're also talking about freedom, but we're talking about being sovereign. And the S also is the female. It's our duty to do it. We're the one with the curve. See? We're the one that has to deal with this. We can wipe it out. And then when you deal with this, well, what's so interesting about this is that they forgot to put the W, because it's the crown, Omi crown. See? And when you play with that, yeah, we can see their negativity, because it's the micro. They don't want you to have your crown.
It's also moronic.
Yes, it's also that too. And at the same time, when you're talking about omega, you're also, what they're using is the Om, which is the universe, the sound, what they're saying, right? And at the same time, these, all of them, because this is 6 as well, but this is 24, 6, or actually 42, because it's backwards, Omicron is equal to 42. Or when you did the gematria, as they said, it was 87, all right? But when you do it with the Pythagorean, it's actually 24. So what are they dealing with? The 24 here really is 23 plus 1 equals 24, which is 23 and me. 23 and 23 is you getting your 46, which is your chromosomes. So this is what they're messing with through the sex. That's what you're looking at right there. When you see this is actually the equal to 42. But then you can also get into so many different things with the 42, because you can talk about the 12 tribes of Israel as well. And which is 1, 2, and equaling 3. But this is the omega, and this is the little death. There's a lot going on with what they're doing, because they're looking to have, basically, when you look at this, what they started out with this curve, and then let's say the IDing. But who are they trying to ID? The 1, the 19 equals 1. And who were they looking for in the matrix? The 1. Isn't that who they were looking for? Who's the 1? And when you look here, that's 1, right? And that is omega. the Alpha, Alpha and Omega. So all of this is Greek. So how are we to get strong if we're going to stay under the days and be weak? Because this right here is actually causing everybody to cleanse. Because what this is giving everybody is mucus. And they have this already because remember, everybody's getting shot. So when you talk about Dr. Sebi and Noble Jawali, both coincidentally passing away from pneumonia, this has been around for some time. This is the same play that is being played back. Because if you look at the other diseases previously, it was also dealing with the lungs. So they're just playing the same playback. I mean, look, it makes sense. If I'm winning and I had written on my playbook, I would use the same playback if the other team doesn't know what I'm playing from. You see, all of this, let me show you real easy again. This is a playbook here. All of this is the playbook, but it's the Bible. The Bible is the playbook that they're playing by. Oh, it's so simple. But it's not simple for everybody, you know, so I'm here to help. I am the Trinity. Oh boy, it only is fun when you have others to play with though. So let me show you. Revelations, what is it? I remember, Revelations 18, 23, right? They deceived the whole world. The whole world, that's the world. They deceived the whole world, right? With their sorcery. But they ain't deceived me because I'm an observer and I'm just watching again because I'm Trinity. I am Mary. I am Aset. I am the grandmother. So watch this play. Do I have everybody's attention yet?
Yes, you do.
All right. Dr. Naila, let me see your face when I show you this. I'm going to put some fireworks here. I want you to see this. I'm gonna let some fireworks go again. I want to give birth right now. Because right now, this is the golden pen, like the golden phallus I'm holding. And I'm going to give birth by just simply showing that the playbook that they're playing back on us, that Greek mythology and that transliteration from Latin to Greek and all of that stuff, or from Greek to Latin, it's weak because we are the Trinity and we're strong when we want to be, if we use our will. Here's the secret that's in their book. And how do I know? Some people want me to qualify it and say, where did you read it? I am the book. And so are you. Don't be afraid. It's in your DNA. We are meant to thrive on subtle energies. It's not far-fetched, no matter what you believe. This is really heaven on earth, but you just have to say, we are Etherians. And we are Revelations 18:23. 9 plus 5 is 14:5. Asar said, scatter us all about. They deceive the whole world with their sorcery. And that is the story of Asar Aset. So, once again, see, this is the play. The Bible is a playbook. It's a code book. It's coded. I want everyone to see that. It's 9:5. It's 14:5. Initiating. Taking her off her throne and scattering all the generations all about, so that there's no family left. Where are the Moors? Where are they? Are they together? Do they have a town like the Amish? Do they have casinos like those that said to be native, that live on their ground? Do we have a hospital, a school that is for everyone to learn that we are Etherians? That's who we are. We're Etherians and we're time travelers. And that we're living in a paradise if we choose, if we will. They deceive the whole world with sorcery. But it's our source, because the opposition believes in source. They know source, but there are only one force. Their source is the force of chaos. That's what they do. And they do it well. They don't exist if we use our will and learn the playbook. That's it. That's the play. They deceive the whole world. But then also, let's play with the word whole. The 9 being the divine whole. So after today, I hope that I don't hear anyone say peace. Because this is what they did. They broke us up into pieces, a piece of pie. So now what they did was divide the land into pieces. Okay, this is Texas. Okay, this is Africa over here. This is that. So now everything's in pieces. You got make-believe ley lines and things. They deceive the whole world into thinking that, oh, we're so different, when all is energy. And we're the same. And now they want you to go into the metaverse, or they want you to be distracted by Bitcoin, and it's just digital money. Or they want you to be distracted by food, because this is a 6th year, and it's also, remember, in the Kemet year, it's an 8, so it's about us financially and our DNA. We have to be safeguarding, because 8 is about security. So if everybody's looking to the 2022, the 6, everybody's going to be on the 6th energy. Everyone that I've seen doing numerology online have been talking about 2022. Well, let me be the first, and let's see how many follow behind me, the Trinity, to say that we're in 62, 63, and I'm really just a tad bit tired of playing these games, because we have the playbook and they're just running the play back. And we've been here before. At least the ones I'm playing with, I know. And I know that we're more. And I know that we can have it all right now, but they're using the 14-5. And many have come behind with the 15-6, with the intention as the thought, as Malachi Z. York, to bring us back together again, but they set him up. And I did say set again, as in sunset, the kiss of death. Jesus, mwah. The Italians, when they kissed each other on the cheek. The Greek, it's the same thing that they did when Malachi was erecting Asar in Eatonton, Georgia. Not a coincidence. So we don't know who we're playing with when we're playing with the opposition, because we're too busy being distracted by the ATM, what we have in the bank. But the bank is who is on the bench. So they say, but the bench is really the bank. The bank or the bank. And they're determining right now, in our time, which is 62, 63, who's going to reign and get that money? Because they want to make sure that we never know that the ATM is our atum. That we're living in a Greek society, but it's called the veil. We have to just snatch it off. Because we can see it now, at least I hope that I made it clear that the ATM is atum and the bank is the bench. And that's what we're sitting on right now ourselves inside, when, okay, while they're playing ball in the court, and we're on the bench, like when they're kicking the ball, we're on the sidelines, watching them play the game of deceiving the whole world, the divine whole, giving us pieces, because the piece is the pie, and the pie is the sweetness. And if vagina ain't sweet, something wrong with it. Okay, let me see, let me get this thing, put it in. So, and little weak there, but yeah. So if the vagina not sweet, something wrong with it. It's supposed to be honored. It should not be what they're calling it, stink pussy. See, because it's pussy. And that is exactly what they're running back on us, is pus. When you talk about the mucus and what the disease is causing, it's causing pus. Your whole body fills up with pus. Because they hate or Set. Because Set was what? Set, according to the story, Set says, when she found the body whole in that ornamental coffin, he didn't like that. So he had to take it a step further and cut the whole body up to say, oh, okay, so you think you're gonna, no, I'm gonna cut it all up. Now you can't have at all. But because of her power and her sorcery, she could actually do things magical to bring back her consort spirit. So the divine feminine, because of our power, we are hated. And that's why it's Haiti. I play a joke with that. They call it Haiti because those women there were the Africans, and they knew how to keep those forces away from them. They won the war because of the divine feminine. And also in Jamaica with Mother Nanny. You see? So we have the power because we are source ourselves. The three, the Trinity. So we are the one that will bring in the Christ in the world because we are the Christ, as I say, for Christ's sake. You know, you cannot get the Christ without, it's even like this. When you talk about meta actually is also means something too. If I could just, let me just tell you what this is all about. See, now look. Meta can be used as an acronym for most effective tactic available, okay? The most effective tactic available. That's what the acronym of meta really is. So now, and calling something meta means that it is an effective way to change the goal of the game, whether it is to beat the other player or beat the game itself. See? So now, meta, okay, is also, say, X. And then X equals whatever X is. So meta can also be shortened for meta game, which is meta, all right, using information, sorry about that, hold on, using information about the game derived from the word or the world beyond the game, because that's what we're playing. We're playing with meta as they want us to play with it, but it's beyond the game. So beyond the game or its rules to influence the outcome of the game, right? Or your competition, right? Of whoever's going to win by ego. So when they're using meta, the meta has many different meanings to it. We use it like metaphysics or meta, things like that. But the opposition is using it differently. I wish that I could actually just put it up, and show you the whole rundown. But perhaps sometime I can. I'm looking to have a much bigger class and wellness event on March 27th. But the tickets will be $200, and they have to email nrgdoesn'tlie@yahoo.com. Because this right here, it's a lot to be explained. And I didn't even touch on the fact about the food. I keep seeing shadows here with myself. And by that time, I may have a videographer, somebody help. There's so much to talk about in reference to the 8 of 6263, because in reference to our finances too, there are ways that we could get, and this may sound crazy, but 1,000 APY. And APY stands for the annual percentage yearly. There are things that are going on where they're giving 1,000% interest. All right? We need to discuss all those things. And everything can't be, televised. Now, the other thing too about the food is this. I'm feeling very crystal clear because I have been just drinking water since December 9th, because I know about these being our holy days. So I've just been drinking water around the clock. And then I incorporated just recently an extra glass of chokeberry juice, right? Aronia juice. Now, think about this. For me, is what I thought about from when I knew that the winter solstice was coming in. What I thought about is that when the doctor told me that my child, my firstborn, would not be well because I was becoming a vegetarian. And I may have shared with you the story about when I became a vegetarian, because of the simple fact, for those that don't know the story, is that my first position was at a Burger King as a supervisor, and they had a miss shipment, and it was kangaroo meat or something that nature. And so from that point on, I decided that I wasn't going to consume any flesh. I was very vain. I said, if I'm going to have a child, in the future, I want my child to look good. Yeah. And so I didn't consume any of the flesh any longer. Now, fast forward, I see that I nurtured a whole being against what doctors told me. My child came out very healthy, and that gave me an education. So my child was my guru, because I'm like, wait, I nurtured a whole being and still was ignorant of, according to what doctors say, that I needed to do this, and I never did it before. So I'm ignorant or naive, or I'm just a seeker, because I was looking to find a way to bring life, but in a pure state. So in that way, I was looking to bring in the Christ. And it just so happened that my son's name was Yeshua. And then nursing my child, living off me without chicken bones and soup and things that, and wheat and oatmeal that most parents want to give their child at 3 months. I didn't do any of that. What took my son out of this life was, once I didn't know, and I began to give him those things that they were recommending called shots, because he was now 14 months. That is how my son passed away. So now, fast forward today, And I realized, well, wait, my next child, I didn't do any of that. My children have taught me, and they've taught me well. Because the things that I didn't know, I had to experiment with them and only ask that my body, my DNA, that I could collect it and remember. You see? And that is all set. Remember means to collect the parts of me, to collect the parts of Asar. So we have to remember ourselves. So I remembered, and I remembered how to do it. I remembered that my child only needed me to be conscious, but not just conscious, but super conscious, so that I could make them a super being, a super Sabian. That is what we are producing and creating. Super Sabians with superpowers. And it all has ties into what we're putting in our mouth, because that's a contract too. The mouth has a contract with the gut. And, well, you don't want it to be broken, because if the contract gets broken, then the gut doesn't have to do what it said that it would do. And it said that it would get rid of the things that you don't need, because it also has a contract with your asshole. And if your gut doesn't digest what you put in your mouth, because it can't even understand what it is, the contract can be broken and you'll be stuck in that contract, or you'll be constipated because the gut says, what is this? What is this? What is this? So your body is under contract. And most people are in breach of that. So that's why a lot of the different organs are failing, because they didn't sign up for that. What I learned is that from just drinking water for these amount of days is that water is life. Well, I already knew that. I told you a story about me and my neck being broken, and I didn't want to get the surgery because I didn't drink water. So now, by me drinking water around the clock, what that says to me too is that the Greeks have tricked us, because you look at the food and it says natural flavor, but natural flavor is an additive. And when you're digesting the food, you are going through a slow death, because that energy that it takes to digest the food is robbing you of your energy. Because what do you really need to survive? You need water. That's what you need, water. Water is the key of life. Food is for entertainment purposes. Dr. G and I was discussing that earlier. I said, man, if I want some food, it's just because I want to come over to your house and I just want to share with you because it's like a party. But I don't have the desire for it. Food is one of the things that is the problem. It's what the Greeks used, because we came here as Ethereans, and we came here with the ability to sense things. But we came with a little ego that was to keep us alive so that we wouldn't kill ourselves. And we couldn't have the experience because we wouldn't know. So we had a little ego. And it would remind us to do little simple things like breathe, drink, how to even just suckle from your mother. But it also was a little ego that said you had enough. But because you start to sense everything and it began to feel good, it became sensational. So now those that are in this matrix, they know that they've sensationalized you. You're just in a maze. And once again, I said, once you're in a maze, you bump your head here, you go to the left, you go to the right, you're in the box, you're in a maze, which is the matrix. So you come here and you want an amazing life. But as soon as you come out your mother, you're in amazement, because all is mind. So what do we do to change this around? We start to look at everything. And it's just like when you learn to cross the street. You got to look both ways. You have to remember your childhood. And that is in the playbook too. It said that you have to be likened unto a child to get through, right, the gates. And it will be a child also that would be the one that will speak for you. Because if you hurt a child, then there will be problem with you even entering into the next realm. But we are the children of Asar and Osset. And they're hurting us, supposedly. Or are we really allowing that by having our will lost in space and thinking that we're separate from one another and you have to do your own thing? See, that's the spell. That's the Greek week. You're in a daze every day of the week. And so the food, when you go to the commissary, really, because that's what it is. You've been in a box in the matrix because they play with time. And that's something that they taught us as children. Because the children, if you notice, when they're babies, they just sleep most of the time because they're still playing and dreaming about what they're going to do once they're here. Because when you're sleeping, well, you're in another dimension because you're another part of your mind. You're in a different room. So when the baby is resting, the baby's in another room. And then once the baby starts to get older, that the baby is observing where they are now. And then now they see that, oh, I don't need as much rest because I got a lot of stuff to do. Oh, I could do this, I can do this, I can do that. But we lost that. See, this is what happens when they did with the children. Then they start to give you the amount of time that you could do what you want to do. But when you was a baby, you didn't know what time it was and you didn't know what day it was. You just did what you wanted to do. You had your will. But by going under this Greek system now, they told you the days and they told you the time you go to your job. So now you are weak. You're no longer playful. And that's what you are, your energy. You came here to play. And this is heaven on earth. But you have to learn to play again because we are the children of Asar and Osset. And the woman has to now control who's coming in to play in our house. You can't open your legs and just let everybody come in your gate, what we call it, in your gap. You know, you come in your gap and then let them just play inside your gap. And the next thing you know, you're bringing more people in your house. And then you can't control your house. Your house is out of order. So it's time for the divine feminine to get your house in order. You just don't let everybody just come in your house. And your house is the world. So, Dr. Nayela, I ain't hearing you.
That's because you don't really need me. First of all, you don't need me, but it's cool. But because I get to rest on the days that you're on there. But I did, you touched on something, so I'm going to take the opportunity to a shameless plug. Mother mentioned that she's been subsisting or on water and aronia berry, chokeberry, and I wanted to bring that up because that is a product that myself and Dr. Botanica are making available. Some of you have already gotten it because you saw me on the when I think Grand Chic and Brother Lamont L when I was hosting down in Capitol Heights at that event a couple of weekends ago. But we do have it in stock, and Mother I've been asking her. I asked her how she was doing with it, and she's drinking too much, y'all. She's drinking more than she got a 60-day supply plus some extra, and she's like almost finished it, and it hasn't been 30 days. So that means she's really living off of water and chokeberry. but that's Mother for you. But I wanted a couple things before I go there. Mother Khai, you wanted to honor um, two matriarchs in your family. And
Yeah.
I did pull up pictures. So I'm going to give you that. And then I'm going to go into the chokeberry thing. So
Okay.
I'm going to bring, I'm going to do that because I've been over, if you guys saw me working and doing some other things, I was trying to bring stuff over that mother had sent me earlier in the day. So with that, let me pull up first your mother. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And let me go there. All right. I believe. Okay. I'm going to let me take down
Yes.
this banner.
Yes. And my mother is her birth 12/3, 33, 33, the Trinity. So, and my mother, a very faithful woman. So that's why I said that it's all about the divine feminine and my mother, who I feed every day. I just wanted you to know that that's, my mom, to honor her and to honor your mother as well, because we are from that line of the divine feminine, Asar and Osset. And when I began to look at my mother's numerology, I realized that her numbers were 333. And that's the Trinity. And she stayed in scripture. And the next woman that Dr. Naila will show you, let's see if you can bring up. Yes. Oh boy, what can I say about my Aunt Marie? Well, she's the one that planted the seeds in me. And presently, she's in Atlanta. And she didn't even know that she planted this bigger seed. Because by her planting the seed in me, I've planted it in so many others. And she had one daughter. And her daughter came after me. So I was her daughter for at least 6 years before her own child came. She is a very special woman. And right now, I'm seeking to really restore her back to health with your help and be able to get donations for this medbed. Because there are too many of us that have matriarchs that are suffering with illnesses because they've been living under this Greek week. And in the time that they came with a message and they did what they were supposed to do, because my aunt, well, she planted that seed in me. So now I'm standing before you. But she doesn't know it because they're saying she has Parkinson's. And I know that is curable, but I'm not my family's favorite. But that's okay, because I have all of you now as my family. At least I hope so. At least that's what I can say. Because we share something. We share my aunt now, and she lives in me. And we are all just energy. That's what she gave to me, without a doubt. That's what my auntie was all about. Until things began to happen in her life and she went into Christianity. It felt safer because she wasn't also one who liked to speak about the numbers. And she studied with Lloyd Strayhorn. And he doesn't know the seed that he came out of his mother to actually be the one to now also teach my own aunt. And let me just share this with you. I thought I was going crazy when I would hear voices, and I was about 36, which equals 9, 369, the code to the universe. I'd had no one to talk to, so I called my auntie. Auntie and Marie, once again, Mary, the name Osset, and her name is Esther Marie. So that is another name out of the playbook. And I called her and I said, Auntie, Auntie Marie, I hearing voices and I'm going crazy. And she said very calmly, she said, no, you're not. I already knew you would. And I'm like, what? She said, I knew I did a reading on you. Now, mind you, I didn't even know what a reading was because in Islam, it was shirk. It was basically forbidden. But she began to tell me things and I listened. So then I realized that, oh, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm in good hands. And she began to say, you had something very special to do because I did this reading on you. And I told someone, but looks like they never told you. And now I just want to say that I'm grateful to honor my matriarchs and all of you who are now taking their place, because now that's exactly what I'm doing. She's in her 80s, and now I'm taking her place as the grandmother. And I was just a child saying, what's wrong with these old people? What are they going to do? So for all of you out here who are 62 like myself, you have the weight on your shoulders too, because you were the child. And that's who they're after today, our children. But you are the child that they were after. Now you've arrived. What are you going to do? Keep your will lost in space? Or are you going to remain cut up in pieces and still look for more? Because that's the trick. That you are already more, but they have you in pieces, looking for more pieces. I just hope that after this video today, that some of the Moors find it so powerful that they can find their way to call up all the other temples and say, hey, let's put down, whatever differences that we have. And let's come together so that we can be more with less temples. Because we don't need all the temples that we have. See, when you are more, you are less. Because you unite as one. And that is how we get the Trinity. Because all the women will know all about that. We're just one big piece of real estate. And that's how we take over this Greek week. That's the solution. We have to know that we are more. All together at once. Wake up all together one time. And that's what this video is about, or I wasted my time. And Dr. G too, who is another Trinity. Because surely we could be doing something else. Like my thing or her thing. But we're not doing our separate things. We came together here simply because we know that's where we belong. Together. So I yield.
I do want to say to you all that, and I have it up here. You hear Mother Khai, all the time when she comes here and enjoy her, but there's nothing like getting a personal reading. You need to, I hope you're taking down the information, the contact information. This is a gift, and this, of course, the servant is very, very worthy of the labor she labors. I want to say to her publicly, I want to thank her for recently giving a reading to my middle son, who's, I don't know what she did to him, but her reading was so profound that it has absolutely turned his life 180 degrees. He's made a 180-degree turn because of the almost 3 hours reading that he received from Mother Khai. You need to reach out and book an appointment, and and be and be able to give an elementary return. And I did say that to my son too. You got something, because you won't let me alone now. So you got a seed of value planted in you, and you need to go back and water where that came from. And I know you did that for me because of me, but there is no, this is time, and this is what she's been given, and this is not, I'm not saying this is nothing, but this compared to your personal reading is where you'll get the amazement. My son was absolutely floored by the knowledge that Mother Khai had, and things that they talked about that we didn't talk about, but all she needed was the numbers, and with the numbers she was able to change the life of a 46-year-old who's been in conflict for quite some time in his life, and now he's like he's on a roll. So I want to say that publicly to you, that I am more than grateful.
But I'm grateful to serve.
Yeah,
You know.
for what you did, and I'm saying that's why I've got this up there for you to take down her number, email, and reach out and book an appointment. And she's also, we talked about, she does have a need for someone who might want to give up some of their time to help, say, with some of the administrative things that need to be done, so that she could do the work that she needs to do of healing the nation. And so I'm putting that out there. I'm thanking her again for the plug for Chokeberry. Thank you, Sister Deborah. I saw she wrote in the she wrote out in the chat that Chokeberry is awesome. So I want to, with that said, also, before I go for the Chokeberry, I have, Mother, I told you I took a picture today, right? And I brought that up too. I don't know if anyone besides me, everything that I used to possibly ignore, how you see things and you don't see things, but now everything bears, for me, further examination. Everything moves me to look deeper and just not take things for what they appear to be. And with that said, I was driving tonight, just before I came on, maybe about an hour before, and I happened to look up at the moon, and I kept saying to myself, that looks funny. And I don't know if the moon should be the same place wherever you are. So if it's nighttime where you are and the moon is out, you probably saw that quarter moon. I think it was about a quarter moon that was there. But what struck me was that there was a perfect gray circle, like a grayish circle, around what's normally a white moon or a pale beige, whatever color moon is. There was a perfect, you would take a circular cutout, and it was in front of it, and it was covering it except for the little section on the outside. And when I looked even closer, the part that was covering most of the moon was a different color, was slightly different color than the rest of the sky around it. And I thought, what in the heck is this? What is the moon? Is it sandwiched in between something? Did they put something up? I was thinking about the Truman Show. So with that, I took these pictures and I called it, what do you call it? Suspicious moon. And I don't know if you can see it from these, but these are the pictures that I took. This is one of them. And I don't know if you all can see this, but there was a gray circle over. I mean, I'm literally looking at a circle that looks like I could pick it off with my hand. And if you move that circle, you actually could see the whole moon. And this is the first time I don't know what I thought a quarter moon, half moon, full moon consists of, but for the very first time here, I'm pointing out here, and you can't see, I'm pointing. If you look, there's a circle that's covering it, and it's slightly lighter, like a cutout, and it's slightly lighter than the sky that was around. I was in the shop, in the park, and I said, "What the heck is this?" So it's one of those things that maybe it's nothing to anybody else, but it opens up for me the thought about what else are we? What other not illusion are we living in? How much this is a very visible illusion.
Yes, and this is true. Is this the same thing that we're tricking our own self too? Look at the fact that here we are, divine feminine, but we are the ones who said to nurture the family. Okay? So we're not nurturing from our breast, we're going to provide food in the house. But then we trick ourselves and knowing that we're mammals, and we go in the store and buy the wheat or the corn in the box. We won't even just buy the wheat itself, right, in its raw form and eat it, because mammals and grazing, let's say, right? Or the
Right.
wheat grass, right?
Right.
We won't just live off the wheat grass. We want to live off what is in the box at the back. So then that's an illusion for ourselves that we could even begin to think to feed our family those things, or take them to um, the all-you-can-eat buffets and things.
Yeah.
How many mammals? How many mammals in the field got an all-you-can-eat buffet?
No, all the all the
Huh?
herbs of the field and all that they can eat, but they're not eating anything that's unnatural.
It's
You
right. It's not all of this set of variety that we're talking about. This variety is not even variety. It's disguise. It's an illusion.
right, right,
So then this is the first part of us really coming out of this, because remember, we're taking that in. So how do you get to be divine when none of that food is not food? So it has no intelligence, so it can't speak to you. That's why I started to just drink water so that I could be crystal clear, because that's what water is.
and you're
So I
drinking.
want,
Look, and you're
huh?
drinking chokeberry with that. That's a good segue.
But let
Uh,
me tell you about the chokeberry though. I'm gonna tell
okay,
people too, right? You can get some chokeberry. Yes, it does say 60 ounce servings or whatever, right?
60
But
servings.
right now, what I did, right, which is real nice with this, right? Because I'm playing, always play. So even when I say, look, if I want to eat something right now, I'm gonna eat something. Even I've been drinking water. I'm gonna go have some sprouts, right? This day, right? I'm gonna take my sprouts. My sprouts will be my noodles, and I'll make it like pad thai. But see, because why? What I know is that I can do what I will. If I want to, and the key word is control what you do. Meaning, I don't need food. I don't need it. I can live off water. I can live off the air, but that's why they're poisoning it, because they don't want us to be living off the air, because we're Ethereal. But I trained myself to do this, right? Now, what I did with the chokeberry, right? I made a tonic out of the chokeberry. Because I'm living off water and I wanted my minerals, because we are minerals, we're crystals. So I added minerals to the chokeberry. And then before I rest at night, right, when the body's now absorbing things, right? That was like my little wine. So I got a nice little glass full, you know, and I sipped it and I was like, I'm divine. I'm divine. I lived off whole day off water. Now I deserve a glass of wine. You
That's
see?
true.
And,
That is
and I put my, okay, let me just, anybody who wants to be elevated naturally, all they have to do is just hit me up, because I got your hemp for you. I got your hemp oil to put inside your chokeberry. So
right.
now I just turn water into wine.
So you get your chokeberry from me, then you get your hemp oil from mother, and then mother tell you how to make your concoction. But let me
What?
bring this screen. Let me bring this screen up so you all can see it. You're not guys, so you all can see it. And let me put my little banner up or something like that. Yeah. So here we go. Right. So I want to tell you a little bit about chokeberry. It's been around forever and ever. It's also called the aronia berry, but um, we found a magnificent, amazing company. Sister Deborah in the chat, if you in the chat, tell them about chokeberry, because you and your husband were here from North Carolina like about less than a week ago, and you got not one but two 3-liter boxes. And what chokeberry is good for, and it's scientifically proven. So I'm not making any crazy claims, but it boosts your immune system, improves your health, and the areas where it works is in immune system boost support. It's a very strong antioxidant. It's a blood sugar balance support. It balances the cholesterol. It has anti-inflammatory effects, which plays an important role in arteriosclerosis development, and as well as plaque and so forth that we have in our bodies. So this works against this. If you have blood pressure issues, it helps to balance the blood pressure, gives you support in balancing the blood pressure, support in balancing cholesterol, support in balancing the blood sugar. It has antiviral activity, and it's recently been proven to work against something that starts with a C and ends with a 9. So it is I've set out we completely sold out between me being in down in Capitol Heights, and then when I got back, sold all the other boxes, and so we just got a shipment in today. I think I only have about 25 3-liter boxes though in that shipment, and I'm already started to send them out. And a couple people did ask when they saw me hosting that event down there, how do I get it? How do I get it? You text CB3L to the same number you text for everything else, and I will text you the link and the cost for it, and that is that. And you can do what Mother Khai tells you. You can, and I will tell you this: all chokeberries are not created equal. But this one is a very, I'm blurry. Where am I there? I can't see me. But this one is a pleasant tasting chokeberry, which, you know, I don't know if you're into the second box, because the first one, that bottle was that other one, which you like too, but blah. But anyway.
No, but you forgot that. I'm going to add this about chokeberry, okay?
Yeah.
Remember, you see, the chokeberry is good for your cells.
Yes.
Because your cells eat and drink. Because the cells are miniature you. And cells eat and drink, right? So that means they poop.
Right.
And when they're pooping, what happens is if that poop doesn't get out too, right? Then that's when you get dis-ease, because now they're pooping on top of each other. See? And that's called your lymphatic system. So now when you get the chokeberry, right? That's why it's called choke.
I put this up here. Deborah says chokeberry gives you energy, plenty of vitamin.
So you don't.
I'm ready to purchase more. She said my husband BP is lowered. It does exactly what Dr. G says. It is awesome. Thank you for that. You bought 2 boxes.
Right. So you don't get look because of the virus, right? When you get all that mucus, you get choked up. So you take the chokeberry, because what it does is really keeps that cell, right, cleansing itself through the lymphatic system. Absolutely. Because that's your immune system right there.
That's absolutely.
And if you're not moving about, right? If you're not moving about because you're on lockdown and you're not jumping up, you know, and exercising, your lymphatic system is sluggish. So you need a little help. And the chokeberry is good.
On the spectrum, though, one of the things that, and I know they probably can't see this, but I don't know if you can see that. But look at this. I want you to see that. That's a little 1-serving bottle. So that's not the big, liter thing. But if you see that chart there on the spectrum, on the far, I guess my right, your left, where you see the gray or the blue, that's the chokeberry on the list of the antioxidant capability of capacity of berries. The one at the very bottom, that little teeny one at the bottom, happens to be noni juice. If you remember, everybody was paying an arm and 2 legs for noni juice back in the day, and it's at the bottom. It doesn't have as much ORAC capacity as a strawberry, but chokeberry is right there. It's before elderberry. It's chokeberry, then elderberry, then wild blueberries, cranberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, and pomegranates, and strawberries, cherries, goji berries, mangosteen, and finally noni. So chokeberry is at the top of the spectrum.
Well, we want to say this. Prunes is on that list too. Prunes is high, okay, too, right? Okay, that's real good. Prunes, right? But the thing is, you can't drink as much prune juice as you can.
Well, no, because
remember the old people always
help you evacuate.
but yeah, it will. But see, the elders always used to talk about prune juice. I remember that growing up, and I'd be like, drinking all that prune juice. So now I know, because of the aronia, what they was doing, right? But it's not the taste and how much you can drink and the effect. You can't be drinking no prune juice and going out.
No, but chokeberry, don't let the name fool you. It may choke you if you get another brand, but this won't choke you. It reminds me of almost like a pomegranate type taste a little bit, but it's not. But if you want it, get your order in. I may even just get your order in if you want it, and we'll get it out to you. And
if you want some hemp,
let me
1 or 2 ounces.
Let me put it back up here so that they'll know how to get in touch with you for that.
What I want them to do is just, if they're interested in the wellness, okay, event on March 27th, they need to email N as in no, R as in run, G as in go.
Oh, so this is not the right one. Let me go back. I'll put this up for now. So now
Okay.
it's for Mother Mother Khai's March 27th, 2022 event. All right. Email.
Energy doesn't lie.
Spell it out, please.
N as in no, R as in run, G as in go, and then you have the word doesn't, DOESNT, LIE. DOE doesn't, like DOESNT doesn't lie. LIE at yahoo.com.
Why aren't you moved to Gmail by now? Who's still in Yahoo? Oh my goodness.
But really, I think look, Yahoo is on my phone and it works. I have Gmail too. So then you could try Energy Doesn't Lie.
I'm gonna put down what you have.
But I believe I'm Energy Doesn't Lie at Gmail too. Same thing. I'm CMOS woman.
I actually typed Gmail. I'm so against Yahoo. I put Gmail and you said Yahoo.
Look, I'm CMOS woman at gmail.com as well. CMOS
for this event, it's Energy Doesn't Lie at Yahoo.
Yes, at Yahoo. Yes. Energy Doesn't Lie.
At yahoo.com. All right. Let me add this.
Or just the phone number too is fine. No, but they have to text.
Or text.
Text the 610.
Is it? This is another one. Hold up. 610.
245.
Oh, I got it. 245-7981.
Yes.
All right. So we're gonna add this banner and put this one up. There you go. Energy Doesn't Lie at yahoo.com or text 610-245-7981.
Yes.
So there you are. There you are, Mother. We have gone to almost 3 hours. So,
Really?
It's 2 hours. Everyone seems to be. I don't know. How many of y'all think that I should give Mother Khai a show on this platform? She could do her own show. She doesn't need me. I can just tune in sometime and listen to her. Like, she tunes in, I'm sure, and listens to me. We're going to work on it so she can have a time where she can do this, because she can talk to y'all all night long if she wants to.
Not without a video.
No. Oh God, you'll be fine. I've done things on my own. But anyway, somebody else has Proton Mail too. Yes, I'm glad you like Chokeberry, Sister Deborah, and all.
Well, does anybody have any questions? Anybody have questions?
Any questions before we go? Yeah, I can't stand putting on these glasses. I have no ears to put them over. Let me see. And I can't see. Let me read and see if there are any questions. I think overall, this has been a very good show. People are going to be rewinding and replaying it. Yep, they're saying, yeah, you should have your own show. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to show up on March 27th,
okay,
2022. And I did choose 27 because that's vagina and penis. And it's also the 9, which is sex. For the divine feminine. You see?
Here's a question.
Because that's what it's going to all be about. It's going to be about sex and the foods that we're supposed to be putting in our body so that we can stay producing.
Right. Here is a question about what can be done, or what can you do to detox if you're nursing. From Sister Aaliyah Bay. She's asking that question about nursing and detoxing. I don't know if that's
all right. Well, here, that's I'm the baby woman. I'm an expert at that. Okay. So when you're nursing, right, one of the things that you really want to do if you want to detox, okay, is first be mindful of what you're putting in your mouth. Is it very sulfurous because it would make your milk gassy, and it will also make you feel bloated, okay? And that baby will not sleep, so then you will get no rest. And then at nighttime, right? If you are sleeping with a night light, your liver, right, is not going to detox. So one of the best things you can do is sweeten your milk so that your baby can rest. So while your baby rests, you're resting. And you use marjoram and thyme and dill and catnip, and you make a drink out of that, okay? So now, when you're drinking that, your milk is going to be sweet. It's like, whoo, like your baby going to be like, my goodness. Oh yeah, you can put a little fennel in that milk too. So that's also going to keep you from being gassy too, all right? Another thing that you can do with that same tea, right, is that you drink it 3 times a day at a certain time. 3, 6, and 9, okay? Because now you're drinking that tea in the time of the universe. So now you're becoming also in divine order because you're drinking those herbs at that divine time too, all right? So now when you want to detox, you also have to make sure that you're drinking water because that's the milk that you're producing too. You need that liquid, so you have to drink water. Water is going to cleanse you. What you don't want to do, right, is take anything that will give you like that laxative effect so that your baby, whatever you drink or take in, your baby's going to have that in the milk. So what you can do is take coffee enemas. So that's not going to disturb your milk flow. You're going to drink the sweet tea, and then you take some coffee enemas, and then you drink plenty water and those herbs, okay? Especially the thyme, the THYME, because that is going to work on your thymus. See? And that is a must because that is your immunity. And you want that to go into your baby because of all this EBGBs and stuff that's going around. So then when your baby's resting, you have your time to take care of you. That's going to help you detox because rest is very important for detoxing. Okay. That's it. Hello. Are we cut? What happened? We frozen? Did we freeze? I can't hear you.
I'm muted. You couldn't hear me. I was going to say we're not frozen. I'm just running that across there. So also, remember last week I had Dr. Ark and Dr. Jazz on, and they had this excellent rainbow water, alkaline water, pure alkaline spring water flowing through rainbow soil in South Carolina that they have bottle and send out. So it's running there at the bottom. So you want to get some good water. We can smell the minerals in it. This is it. And one thing about this, it doesn't make me run to the bathroom. And what they said is because my body is utilizing, it's not the empty water that flushes right through you. It's going to the cells. If I drink 8 ounces or a half a cup, I normally have to run and let out, a quart.
Mm-hmm.
I've drank more than half a liter. And I'm still sitting here, not, antsy on my seat. And it's because my body's saying, thank you. We need those minerals. And so we're going to keep them and not flush them out in your urine. So that's the difference between drinking that and somebody else's off the shelf so-called alkaline water. That's just purified water where they alkalize it with something. So this is natural. And these are our folks with their own spring. So, you see that at the bottom. I'm trying to give you, information and news you can use.
I had some crazy thoughts. I said, I heard some crazy thoughts say like you drinking the water is clean. So you want to hold on to it. If it was dirty, you had to let it go.
Yeah, my body.
And this is the thing. This is what Grand Chic, but isn't that what Grand Chic was talking about? Dirty Moors. So if they dirty, you got to let them go. If they clean, they can stay. You can hold on to them.
You can hold on to them. Yes. And I guess the question also was, can you can you take oil of oregano while nursing? I don't know. That might be a little strong. I think what you said is better.
Well, you're trying to detox. You want to detox slowly anyway. You just, number one, you just had a baby, right?
Yeah, right.
So because you're nursing still, so you did detox because you had bloodshed. The baby came out.
Nursing itself is sort of a detox too, because it begins to draw your clean out your womb, starts to shrink and stuff is coming out. So even the process of nursing has a detoxing effect to it.
There's a certain amount of time that if you had a girl or a boy, that your body is going to go through those cleansing and pain even here. So for 2 years, if she's going to nurse for 2 years, that baby is, well, tied to her, because remember what I said too, what I learned. Right. We're our children's food source for 2 years. So why you can't live off water? And who told us that we need all this smorgasbord and thing when we are having a life live off us for 2 years on milk alone? It's only that we were taught in this society, this Greek society, this Roman Empire, that we have to have what they had.
Right.
They were greedy, not only Greek, but greedy. And everything was about food, right? Every time there was a celebration, it was always food. So and now when we take after them and we go and do their holidays and we don't observe our holy days, we go and get food to celebrate their holidays, which means that we're making offerings to their deity. So we wonder why we're in this problem is because we always going to get food on their holidays. That's what they do. That's the trick. They make sure that it's always food. You go shopping for the 4th of July. And this is one thing I didn't say. The Kemet, right? We had 365 days. It was originally 360.
60, that's right.
Right. But the 5 was added. So now the 5 was added. And it was taboo to work on those days. So if you look at it, it was taboo to work on those days. And then we look at this society we living in. You got Christmas, ain't nobody working. That day, everything closed down. You got New Year's, things closed down. You have what? Thanksgiving, things closed down. All right? You have their Labor Day, things closed down. And then you have their the Easter, things closed down. So that's 5 days. That's us. Because we made that, saying that in those extra 5 days, we were not to work. And now they go around and they do the same thing. Come on. We might as well just stop living in their thing and just proclaim ours. Because it's ours anyway. But we only half-ass. See, we half-ass. So then when we say, oh, I ain't got to go to work today because New Year's or Christmas, we half-ass. Meaning now we went and celebrate their thing, but we did not pay homage to really what this is all about. When it's all about us anyway. Just
true. There was a question earlier, and this is the last thing I think I'm going to say because we're approaching the 3 hours. Somebody asked about cell salts, and I was over there. If you heard me rattling papers, getting my book out. This is not personal knowledge part 1, but in the backup, what the premise of cell salts is that for the 3 months that we're 9 months normally, you have a preemie or something, 9 months in the womb. But for the 3 months, and there's 12 cell salts, so 1 for each month. But the 3 months that you're not, you're born, the 3 months, I believe, after your birth, which means you wouldn't have been in the womb, and that your body is missing those minerals. And it goes according to, each sign from Aries to Pisces. And let me just read this. There are only 12 biochemical cellular tissue salts or cell salts, and each cell salt is exalted in a different month of the 12 months of the year. Salt of the earth. Therefore, we are the salt of the earth, Therefore, there is one cell salt corresponding to an astrological zodiac sign and to a portion or portions of the anatomy. Like for me, Pisces is the feet, and I have so many problems with feet, believe it or not. We are typically in the womb for 9 months, receive the vibrations and energies reflected upon the earth during those months. However, there are at least 3 months that we did not receive these vibrations while in the womb. Those 3 months correspond to the 3 zodiac signs after your sign. It is suggested to take those 3 cell salts on a regular daily basis. The cell salt belonging to your sign is to be taken once a year during the entire time the sun is in your astrological sign. So in my case, the 3 salts for Pisces, anybody's a Pisces, normally you're missing Kali Phos, Nat Sulfur, and Kali Myrrh. Which is the Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. But for the actual Pisces, it's Phallus. So during the month of from February was it 21st to March 20th, I should be taking that Phallus once a year. But the other salts, I should be taking them all through the year, basically. And it goes like that for each sign. The cell salt of your 180-degree reflection opposite, which mine is Virgo, should be taken when the moon is in your sign approximately twice a month for approximately 2 to 3 days. Therefore, one would have an interest in 5 cell salts. However, any of the salts can be taken at any time, as they have healing and preventative qualities in them that correspond to parts of the anatomy, and can be taken if in need of that particular repair or upkeep. So for the one rather in the chat who asked about cell salts, I was reading from I don't know if you see that from this book. All right.
Say the name of it so they know.
It is The Zodiac and the Salts of Salvation, Part 1, the relation of the mineral salts of the body to the signs of the zodiac, the salt of the earth, biochemical, cellular, tissue salts. So I was reading from that.
And just so that somebody, like doesn't go cuckoo trying to, oh, what time is it? Time for me to take this one, time for me to take that, We can always
take any.
Huh?
You can take any and all of them, but you want to know which ones relate to you.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, you definitely do. But remember, we're all signs anyway, because we have all our organs inside of us, right, and all the organs of planets, and then throughout the day we're rotating as well between signs. So it can be just as simple as just to incorporate bioplasma cell salts.
Yeah. Someone asked, where do we get cell salts? I used to get cell salts from you
can go to university, and I want to give Seven Bomar a shout out. You can go to the university. You can get them from.
And I was getting them from Vitacoast. So Vitacoast has them, but if you go to, like she said, in university, I guess he has cell salts there. But if you can also go to Vitacoast, and they have all of them. But you just need to know which cell salts go for you. So just look at Google. Google has everything. So find out which cell salts. I mean, I have a chart here. I don't know if you can see that. That I don't know how well it can be seen, but that chart right there is telling you for what sign, what salts underneath it. Right beside the sign is the salt for your birth month or for your sign. The salts underneath are the salts for the 3 months you're not normally in the womb, and the and then the salts through the on the far end would be the opposites of those particular signs. So that's what it is. If you can see that, I don't know if that's good or not. You might find yours on there. So then you'll know. So for instance, like Nat Sulfur.
Well, if they look, wait. If they really want to, they can just simply buy a AO scan from either one of us, huh?
Right. AO. Yeah, that's true. You can do that too. So we are going to go. There are some, like someone said, bioplasma, all cell salts, or singlets. Well, I think I do have a bioplasma with a lot. That's the one I was just taking on a regular. But just Google. Go on Google, look for cell salts, and you'll come up with the various places. And I don't know what energy is. It energy, IN, energy, EN. You were mentioning Seven Bomar.
Oh, university. Oh yeah, the university. Yeah. He has great stuff. The goal is good. And we have to start knowing our source. That's why I said if anybody wants hemp flower, oil, CBD, they should get it from me because I know the source. If they want, you know, your tonics and herbs, you have to know the source. It's from farm to table. What I say.
Right.
And I shop locally if I want something, and it's from farm to table. You don't too much of this middle person. You don't know where it's coming from. So no. But everything is not equal.
Absolutely. So we're going because I got to go. I got yoga early in the morning, and I know you all have got other things to do. Mother Khai, thank you so much. We're gonna talk about you having a show and we're gonna learn. We're gonna teach you how to do a show on your own, and everybody loves you. So that would be really good, and we will work on that. Oh, one other piece of enlightenment I gotta share. I was binge watching the Wheel of Time this weekend. Anybody seen the Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime? I was binge watching it, and I think I watched all of the episodes that in the first. All the episodes in season 1, and then there were no more. But the interesting thing about the Wheel of Time was it's sort of set in what we would consider, what we're told, are medieval times. And they're looking for the reborn dragon. But the interesting part of it is that it's like medieval times, and they're using axes and all this stuff, and they look like back in the those days of when we see the castles and all that. And I want to say it was episode 8. They did a flashback 3,000 years. It said 3,000 years ago, and when it went to 3,000 years ago, the cities were modern. Folks were flying like George Jetson, you remember? And so, and these women are ruling or keeping the world or the dragon at bay. This council of 20 women. Some of them are melanated. The one that sits on the throne as the head one is melanated. But it was so interesting that when they did it, they sneaked this stuff in, telling us like, yeah, you used to be way more far advanced and civilized 3,000 years ago than you were at this point where it looked like we were in the so-called Middle Ages. And I thought that was very interesting that, because they're always slipping, some truths into their so-called fiction.
Oh, yeah.
To tell us by, slopping off the karma, but lying to us by making us think it's some mythology. So if anybody has checked that out or hasn't, check it out because it's very, very interesting.
Well, check out The Barrier on that. I got stuck out at my daughter's on New Year's. The fireworks was going off for the happy ending. But I end up just watching The Barrier. She said, you want to watch something? And I don't watch TV. I hadn't watched Netflix. Didn't have internet, nothing. So I just said, okay, boy, that barrier is something. The barrier is, yes, the barrier. It's about what them doing to the children.
Okay.
With shooting them up and using them as tests to see how much they can take so that they can make a actual so-called cure. Boy, that thing deep. And I think it's like 12 episodes of it. I watched 12 in one night.
Okay. The Barrier on Netflix, The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. It's just, we need to start sharing these various ones that have these glimmers of truth. It's just that we have to imagine that the folks that were there were probably didn't look like what they depict, because a lot of times they'll tell us the truth and they change the way folks looked and so forth. But this one has a lot of admixture of nationalities, it appears in it. But it's just interesting that the part that showed that 3,000 years before they were in this middle age type thing, where the Middle Ages and all this stuff was, just hills and dales and people living hand to mouth. They were in a technologically advanced, like Atlantean society, flying and all this. And I'm going, what? It was almost like, how did that get in the movie? But they were telling you something. They're telling you that they've messed with time. They want to make you think, or us think, that we have progressed to this point when we have actually regressed. this is a regression, but I believe we're at a reset period where we can either go higher or go lower, and it depends, like you said, on us.
Well, on that note, I want to hold up my hand and let everyone just say, that we take our own pledge to ourselves to know that we are all, and all is energy, and that we are the force of nature, and we are still seeking, and we will discover more of ourselves. All. We may not have it all together, but so let's pull ourselves together from being in all of the pieces that are scattered all about, as in Asar, body, and the nations. It is a story that our ancestors left for us so that we would know how to pull ourselves together, and that we would now love one another and begin to, what we would say, have, procreation with one another as well, so that we can bring in the golden children and stop having sex outside with the others, so that we can be together. Let's pull it together so that we can be more, and less is more. Less temples, more love. As in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Ashe.
Dr. G. Really? Who's she?
Yeah, that's me.
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 Dr. G. Really?